Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for our New Year's Day Premier League predictions. I think it is round number 17 or something like that, but it is going to be a really quick video again because we haven't seen all the results from midweek yet. The only thing we need to do before we jump right into these is Tom is going to highlight a comment from the previous video.
Our highlighted comment this week comes from Mickey Leeds. We are not going to highlight any predictions comments because we have no idea what the results are going to be. So Mickey Leeds said he loved listening to us and it was nice to see a Man U fan praising Leeds. And they've been fantastic this year and we appreciate that. And Ian loves Swindon and I clearly love Leeds and that's how this league goes.
Love him.
Enough.
I love him.
Getting into this, it's time for Southampton versus Liverpool.
Well, we're going to put Tom's love of Liverpool to the test here. They looking to get back to winning ways after a disappointing draw against West Bromwich Albion, although they will probably beat Newcastle, to be fair to them, in one of these two fixtures. But just a blip, wasn't it? Just a blip in my opinion. I mean, they had plenty of chances, plenty of possession. They just couldn't get that second goal after an early first goal, and you ended up with Klopp being a sore loser again. This is going to be a tough game because Southampton will push them. But do you think they got any chance of beating this Liverpool side?
No, I don't think they do. Southampton were really unlucky in their 0-0 draw with Fulham. I think they had the ball in the back of the net twice. Both times they were offside. We've already highlighted how Theo Walcott's looking really good and how Southampton had been missing 4 players, including Romeo, who's like the engine house for them. But let's be honest, Liverpool are just too good. They normally win games. They kind of got lulled into a false sense of security with West Brom, and their foot was completely off the gas at halftime. Like they just didn't seem interested anymore. They thought they'd won it, and they hadn't. So I'll let you predict first, Ian. What's your score?
Yeah, odd one, wasn't it? I think that they will get through this Southampton test, though, and it will be a test. I think Liverpool, my classic Liverpool scoreline, they will win 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1.
Burnley versus Fulham.
So the news with Burnley is the prospective new owners think the transfer is going through. They think they'll abort it. Burnley fans, let us know in the comments what you think of that, because that's really exciting news for you guys. Even having 50p to spend on players would be good news for sure.
That's the one thing I was going to say. I said, instead of having a transfer budget of 5 million, they'll now have 5.5 million.
It's that extra £500,000. It goes a long way.
Oh, those are good players you can get for that.
Obviously, we've talked about most of the matches we've seen these teams play already. Fulham are looking a lot more drilled now. I think it's safe to say.
They are. This one you would think has got draw written all over it, really, isn't it? This is either going to be, in my mind, this is either going to be 0-0 or 1-1. And I haven't done a 0-0 for a while, so I'm going to go for it.
Excellent. I'm going 1-0 to Burnley. They have been really good when I've been watching them.
Yeah, Barnes and Woods back make a big difference. Even if they don't score every week, they're just very, very good focal points.
Yeah, I mean, that goal that got taken away from Ashley Barnes is still very, very perplexing.
Absolutely.
Tottenham Hotspur versus Leeds United.
Well, if this was a Pochettino Spurs side, this could be the greatest game ever played.
9-8?
This could have been better than the Man United Leeds game. This really could have been just a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
Both sides pull their goalies after 30 minutes. But it's unravelling a little bit for Mourinho late, isn't it? His tactics aren't working. They're getting found out a bit, and everybody's kind of enjoying the fact they can heap pressure back on him again in the media. Yeah. Again, I do not understand, for me, why you take a lead 1-0 and you don't try and press on and win the game. And as much as he says that he tried to do that, clearly those players it's ingrained in them to play this kind of defensive mindset now, which isn't necessarily helping them in a lot of games, although it's weird because those are the tactics that got them to the 2 weeks ago we were saying they could win the league. So it's a tough one for Spurs fans at the moment. This one, I think they'll be a bit too streetwise for Leeds. I think in this one, I think Leeds being too open will play into Spurs' hands, but I'm going to let you talk about Leeds and give me your score first.
I mean, Leeds have been great. Really happy Patrick Bamford got that penalty. But we've already talked about all that, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. I just think Mourinho's going to outmanage Bielsa in this. Bielsa's going to set his players out, and he's still going to go, we're playing attacking football. And as much as Spurs sat back on a 1-0 lead, they'll love how open Leeds are when they attack. Like, they're so wide open to cut through. And Harry Kane and Son are just going to have a field day. I think it's going to be a good game, though, because Leeds will attack. Bamford's going to get a goal. 3-2 to Spurs.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 to Spurs.
This is one of the few times I'm not going to back Leeds. As a rule, I've been backing Leeds this season. But Spurs just... their entire team looks set to beat a team like Leeds. Like, the entire way they play is perfect to soak up that pressure, and when Leeds have committed 9 players forward, just shoot through them.
Absolutely. But I'm sorry to disappoint you, Thomas. I know it's New Year's Day and New Year's predictions, but those Eagles are not coming. But it is time for Crystal Palace Sheffield United.
Right, as a rule on this channel, we don't talk about Sheffield United. They're the worst team in the league by a mile, so good luck to them in this match. Crystal Palace got a pretty credible 1-1 draw against Leicester. It did apparently take the assistant manager being apoplectic in his halftime team talk, according to Roy. But I thought Palace probably deserved to win, actually, if I'm being totally honest. Leicester were slow. They put their B team out, which barely could do anything. And I thought Palace could have gotten more out of that game. So I think they'll be coming here with a bit of confidence. What do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. It was a good 1-1 draw. I guess that is just one of those things over these. It's such a short turnaround of games. It does test the squad, and there are a lot of low-scoring, quite boring games that we always tend to forget about when we're predicting 4-2s and 3-alls and stuff like that. But this one has a low-scoring game written all over it, doesn't it? And I think Roy Hodgson will be desperate for a clean sheet. He hasn't had one in such a long time, and I think that Palace will beat Sheffield United by 2-0.
I'm just going to go with 1-0.
It's always Zaha, though, isn't it? Zaha or nothing.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Ian, I can't believe you didn't put this match first. It's Chelsea versus Manchester City.
Well, I'll tell you why the reason I didn't, Tom. Because the first game involved champions of England, Liverpool. But you are absolutely right. This is obviously the standout game. Frank Lampard under pressure, though, isn't he? A lot of people starting to hear murmurings that they're not too... Might be calling for his head. Call it Werner, waste of money. Havertz, worst player ever.
I thought Havertz, when he came on as a sub, actually looked really good. Was it yesterday's game? The 1-1 draw?
Is that just because he didn't trip over the ball?
He didn't trip over the ball, but he looked a lot more mobile than he has recently. I did not realize he'd had COVID and how badly it affected him, but I think it's pretty clear that as he gets back to fitness, we could see a different Havertz. This is classic Chelsea, though, isn't it? It's like they lose 2 games and instantly the manager's got to go. He doesn't know what he's doing. They're terrible. Keep in mind that they're currently tied on points with Aston Villa, so that wasn't a great draw for them. But they're only 6 points off the top of the table right now. I mean, they've had a really good year. They still look good going forward. There's a little bit of a blip. They're not terribly weak defensively. The goal they conceded wasn't great, but they concede 1 goal, and everyone's furious with them. Beginning of the season, they'd have lost that game 3-0.
To an informed side and an informed player as well.
Yeah. And El Ghazi's on 5 goals in 5 games. Ian, City.
Yeah.
Is this match even going to happen?
Well, yeah, we don't know, do we? I mean, the game against Everton was called off, and Everton were thinking that should have been a forfeit, but no, shut up. Everton fans, get over it. Just quickly on Chelsea, and I know this is I just want to say one thing, and maybe I should leave it for when we can talk longer, but Abraham Mount, Hudson-Odoi, are they actually improving?
I think Mason Mount's been great. Hudson-Odoi is probably the odd man out there. Abraham's definitely, in the last year and a half under Frank Lampard, come on leaps and bounds. He's scoring almost every game. Obviously, they've switched to using Giroud up front a lot more, but it's because he can't stop scoring, because Tammy Abraham, like we talked about, plays off the lost shoulder and tries to run onto balls, whereas Giroud is just a target man, which fits their team a lot better. I think the only one out there that you're a little bit worried about is Hudson-Odoi. He has not improved in about 3 years now. And yeah, he's in danger of not being in the England team anymore.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I was just watching them the other day, and I was just wondering what your opinion was on all 3 of those players. Man City, I mean, not much more to talk about them. They've been in good form. It's a shame the Everton game didn't go ahead. I think they'll just about edge Chelsea in this one. I'm going for a 2-1 City win.
Yeah, I just can't back this City side to score that many goals. Even if Aguero comes back, they're just complete inability to just shoot at any point. And when they finally do shoot, they tend to put themselves in weird positions. So I'm going to go with a Chelsea win here. I think they're going to come back. I'm going 3-0 to Chelsea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shock of the round, folks. Shock of the round. Comments down below on that one, but we'll move on to another of Tom's favourite sides. West Bromwich Albion versus the Arsenal.
So, obviously, we haven't seen Brighton and Hove versus Arsenal, but we both know Brighton will probably win that. They've had Arsenal's number for the last couple of years. West Brom do look a lot better under Allardyce. They look very well drilled, and I know that he got a lot of shtick for what he did, but you put 11 men behind the ball, it is really hard to score. And Arsenal tend to do really badly against teams like this. Like, this is historic. This is my entire life of Arsene Wenger, Unai Emery, Arteta. They can't break down teams when there's 11 men behind the ball.
Well, they can't break down teams, and Sam Allardyce will be very, very... he'll drill into those players of West Brom to really get in Arsenal's face and make it uncomfortable for them, and really let them know that they're in a physical game with a lot of probably nasty tackles early on, some a lot of pressing, and just to make it very, very uncomfortable for Arsenal, which is what he's done in the past. But the game against Liverpool, he deserves praise. They got a good 1-1 draw. Just remember, West Brom fans, that is the way you are going to play against a Liverpool, against a Newcastle, against the Brighton, against Morecambe. Anyone you come up against, you're going to play in that way. So just get used to it. I want to back Arsenal though, Tom, just because
you
know I love them. I love them. Arteta has turned the corner. Arsenal's turned the corner. Martinelli the hero. 2-0 Arsenal win.
I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw.
Newcastle United versus Leicester City.
So, I understand that Leicester basically in that last game against Palace were happy with the draw. Like, the lineup he sent out there, the way they played, they were clearly accepting that if they didn't win the game, it was fine. But I really thought we were going to see more out of them. Like, I really expected more out of this team. I'm just going
to have to say, I mean, that just comes down to them not having a stronger squad as you think, and how Rodgers does a good job with that first 11, and then arguably they punch above their weight. But when the second string players come in, they're just not... They don't play with the same level of energy.
Well, Vardy obviously, I think, got about 10 minutes in that game. Tielemans got about 15 or 20. But I think Leicester are going to be too strong here. Obviously, Steve Bruce has come out in the week. He's like, we're going to have to prove people wrong. But it's going to be really tough for him. They're playing Liverpool tomorrow. They're playing Leicester in this round of matches. I can't see it ending that well for him. I'm going to go 2-0 to Leicester.
Yeah, difficult. I'm going to be back in Leicester as well. I'm really kind of sick of Steve Bruce's sides, and this is weird if you watch any of our videos last year. But I think, as I keep saying, they're giving him a chance, and he's not improved them anything at all. I think they are, and arguably maybe Palace, the one side that just seems content to just tread water in this league and never improve. Yeah. And as much as you say that could be Ashley, Bruce has to take his share of the blame as well. He has brought in some better players this season. Leicester will be better, and I think Leicester will win. I think I'm going to go for a 3-0 Leicester win.
Ooh. Goals.
Iheanacho, I had a bet on him to score a goal and Leicester to win. So F you, Iheanacho, you're in my bad books.
I'm going to be honest, did you watch the game? He looked petrified when he had to take the penalty. And the commentator actually said it. Jamie Vardy was in the stands, like, giggling. And it cut to Iheanacho, and he's like, Jamie Vardy, looking a lot happier than the man taking the penalty. And you could just see it. The minute he got the ball, it was like, he doesn't fancy this. He doesn't fancy this at all. Somebody else take the ball from this kid. And it was a terrible penalty. It was right down Guaita's throat.
I'm still convinced Guaita was off his line.
It's enough from you. VAR! Everton versus West Ham United.
This to be a pretty good game. And although Everton have sort of found a way of being very solid without being spectacular as of late, especially with those like 4 centre backs playing at the back.
I mean, you got to give it to Carlo Ancelotti, right? Like, this is just now my weekly chat about how much I love Carlo Ancelotti, but his ability to do things with a team that you're looking at and you're like, they've got 4 oh, that worked. Oh, it's worked out. Alex Iwobi is my biggest question mark for Everton. Every time I watch him, it's like 1 out of every 10 matches, he realizes that the quicker he plays the ball out of his feet, the better the game will go. And when he's crossing the ball, it's great. But he seems to be obsessed with taking 8 touches before crossing it. And it really does slow down this team. But Everton look good. Sigurdsson looks great.
Does look really good, yeah. And Alex Iwobi, for me, is almost like you watch him. It's one good thing followed by 2 or 3 ordinary to bad things.
Yeah.
West Ham a classic. They're much like what you said about Chelsea. It's like a couple of not great results, and all of a sudden a bad first half against Brighton. They're 1-0 down, and then people are slagging off David Moyes, but they come back out second half and turn it around. And arguably, maybe should have won the game. Really, I mean, Souček. They're like a constant threat from set pieces, and Souček scored again. And Moyes said he's got to find a way of trying to get into a more advanced position, because this is a guy that is almost like on a Lampard level of like goals from midfield.
He's a goal every other game now. He's averaging that. It's been great.
And their attacking players just, they impress me every time I watch them. Really, West Ham.
Let's really quickly, West Ham fans, pre-match you guys were singing the praises. You're moving up the league and everything's going well. Don't turn on him because he didn't make the best team selection. At halftime, he took off Jared Bowen to make a point. It wasn't that Jared Bowen was the worst player out there. He took him off just to be like, kid, you're done. Everybody has to do better. He made 2 subs. The team played so much better. He is an established Premier League manager, all right? The guy knows what he's doing. West Ham are so much better than they were last year, which is better than they were the year before. But you're going to lose this match 2-1.
I'm going to go for a draw. I think Hammers will get another draw here. I'm going to go for another 2-2.
Goals, goals, goals.
Brighton, Hove and Albion versus Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Ian, I don't know who Wolves are. I'm petrified of making predictions about them. Every time I think they're going to play badly, they play well. Every time I think they're going to play well, they play badly. Gonna highlight the player I always highlight. Podence is just such a freaking handful. Wolves clearly need a striker, and maybe with Diego Costa available, they'll bring him in. I know he's not Portuguese, but he's close enough, right? But they just need somebody up front, because Felipe, whatever his name is not quite good enough yet, and he definitely looks like he'd be better playing off the main man. Brighton are the most boring side in the Premier League outside Newcastle.
Just did the classic thing, didn't they? Like, every time I watch them, I mean, to say they're boring, you watch them, they're not boring, but they play pretty good football, but they can never stick the ball in the back of the net consistently. They did get a little bit of luck in that Thomas Dunk second goal. Lewis Dunk second goal. Right, got a name wrong. Second goal where
I thought you were comparing him to me for some reason. I was like, I don't play centre back.
It clearly hit his arm and then went in. And those goals have been chalked off earlier on in the season. Yeah. That one was given. Another example of the randomness of VAR. But I think Wolves are going to get a 1-0 win here, Tom.
Okay. I think this is going to be a 1-1 draw. I think Brighton are entering one of those periods where they're setting up shop really well. They're not conceding a ton of goals, and they're just eking out results to keep them above the relegation zone. This is last year all over again. They're one of the most boring teams to watch because they can't score goals, but they don't concede a lot.
Okay, well, that is 9 games down, 1 game to go. We've got 2 giants of English football now. One residing up in Manchester. I'm not sure where Villa is, so I'm going to say one residing somewhere in, like, Midlands somewhere? Not sure. Comment down below in the comments, because it's time for the main event.
Manchester United hosting Aston Villans.
Well, the great entertainers, Manchester United, come up against the very, very good Aston Villa side, who arguably are right there challenging for the title alongside the Red Devils. But to tell you more about it is our resident expert Manchester United fan, Thomas Pickering.
Really wish there's a lot more I could tell you outside of what we did in the last video, which you can check out in the top corner right now. United probably should have beaten Leicester, turned off at the end. It was a bit criminal in that respect. They say they're going to re-sign Cavani, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was asked point blank, is he a starter or a sub? And he said he's a starter. So really hoping we see him in these games. He's clearly the best player we have as a focal point.
Did he mean like he's a starter, as in like he's not the main course?
I knew you'd make a food reference with that. I can't do this anymore. I need a new partner. I think United are going to be too strong for Villa. Villa, though, are on a great run of form. You feel like the 1-1 draw with Chelsea at the end of the day is a good result for them. I think United will beat them because they're so good going forward, but Martinez in goal is an absolute beast.
Fantastic.
Tyrone Mings, I think, will be back because he picked up 2 yellow cards, so he only misses the Chelsea game, which is really good news for them, although they did a fantastic job defending against Chelsea. Hors, somehow H-A-U-S-E is pronounced Hors. Hors and the other bloke, is it Konsa, were fantastic against Chelsea. I see United winning this. I always see goals when United play. 3-1 to the Red Devils.
Yeah, before I put my Manchester United hat, just big praise again to Dean Smith. What a great job he's doing. I mean, Aston Villa they're such a fun side to watch as well. Especially you talk about, obviously Grealish gets a lot of the headlines, but El Ghazi's been on absolute fire for them lately as well. The goals he's scored as well have been fantastic. Ollie Watkins is fantastic centre forward. He's just not getting the breaks in front of goal at the moment. But I do think Man United will also win. I think this will be a 3-2 win for Man United. And if I could just very quickly put my Man United hat on to finish this off, I think this could be a very good opportunity for Manchester United to not let Grealish escape Manchester, gag him, duct tape him, leave him up at Old Trafford, and then sign him in the January transfer.
This is a bit like the old Fergie thing where he like kidnaps somebody at an airport and goes, "Nope, you're not signing for them. I'm driving you in."
It's Berbatov all over again.
Dimitar!
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that will round it up for the final Premier League predictions of 2020 and / the first of 2021. That sort of didn't quite the way I thought. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps us out so much on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and I know something like 70% of the people that watch this video haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Go check out our affiliate links down in the description. Go check out Grandstand Betters. They're a superb tipster website and you'll win yourself some money. And also, please comment down below, because then you might, one, we like to hear from you, and 2, you might get your comment read out at the start of the next Premier League video. Thomas, give us some words of wisdom for the start of 2021. The nation needs it.
Wig, 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 wig.
That's why the nation's ruined.
I'll tell Boris.